Good afternoon. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. This is a 6 p.m. Eastern Time update on Hurricane Ian, major Hurricane Ian, on this Tuesday, September 27th. You can see from the satellite loop going on here that we have a major hurricane. It is well defined and nothing is going to stop it from increasing in intensity over the next 12 to 24 hours. We have a Category 3 storm on our hands, and it looks like we may have a Category 4 storm at landfall, at least a strong Category 3, perhaps a Category 4 storm at landfall. So I want to remind everybody this is a Phase 1 update from the All Hazards Consortium's playbook. This is for the sensitive information sharing environment. That means we're monitoring the situation. We're updating all the utility vehicles, monitoring and updating all of the communications, food, fuel, medical supply sectors with this update. And tomorrow we'll move to Phase 2, which is actually the incident occurring. All day tomorrow is going to be landfall coverage of Hurricane Ian, perhaps major Category 4 Hurricane Ian. I want to zoom in a little bit and show you the visible satellite image. This is the mesoscale sector, and you can just see the incredible detail. I'm going to zoom in here on the eye. All those bubbles you see going around the eye, they are severe thunderstorms rotating around the center, which is now at 120 miles per hour at the surface. All those little bubbles you see are major updrafts. Lots of turbulence around this hurricane. I want to show you GeoCollaborate and the dashboard and what it looks like as of right now at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can see I've turned on the arrival time for the tropical storm force winds because I do want to explain this to you. But I've done some measurements in GeoCollaborate, and the width of the tropical storm force wind field is 265 miles. That's 265 miles. So when you hear of somebody saying the storm might make landfall in Venice, or it might make landfall in Englewood, it really makes no difference at all. This storm is a monster. It's spreading across a large area, and the strong hurricane force winds of 75 to 120 miles per hour extend across 63 miles. That's 63 miles in this area right here. Now I'm going to move up to the north just a little bit because you see Tampa and St. Petersburg right here. That is the onset, the most likely onset of tropical storm force winds. That is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Why is this important? Because most bridges close when winds reach tropical storm force. So by tomorrow morning, early tomorrow morning, you should be in the place where you are going to ride this storm out. Hopefully, it's away from all the evacuation areas that have been ordered and even out of town. Because the storm surge predictions that I also have displayed here, I'll get to in just a moment. But Wednesday at 8 a.m. is when the tropical storm force winds are expected to move into the Tampa-St. Pete area. Wednesday at 2 p.m., we're talking about Central Florida, right before Orlando. So 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Orlando should start seeing tropical storm force winds. And around 8 p.m., the Space Coast, the Space Coast will see it around 4 p.m. as well, but north of the Space Coast to the Palm Coast, you should see tropical storm force winds by Thursday, early morning Thursday. So here we are with the current hurricane and where it is, and these highlighted areas along the coastline are storm surge maximum values that are expected. And I'm going to click on this here for Charlotte Harbor. Charlotte Harbor is expected to have an 8 to 12 foot storm surge, 8 to 12 feet. Just to the north here, from the middle of Longboat Key to Bonita Beach, also 8 to 12 feet. And I want to put this into perspective, and I'm going to put the diagram on here for what 8 to 12 feet might look like. You can see the family standing there up to 6 feet. Anything above 6 feet, that's how much higher than you standing on normally dry ground could see storm surges where you have an 8 to 12 foot storm surge. I'll move this over just slightly here, and click on this storm surge value from Anclote River to the middle of Longboat Key. 4 to 6 feet. Now that's down from the previous forecast because the storm looks like it's going to make landfall slightly to the south of Tampa Bay. And so we have a 4 to 6 foot storm surge across Tampa Bay and from the Anclote River to the middle of Longboat Key. I'm going to zoom in here to Tampa Bay, and you'll see what it looks like here from the standpoint of storm surge. If I click on the storm surge here, that's 4 to 6 feet across Tampa Bay. Now, 6 feet of storm surge will close all of the causeways from flooding from the bridges. That is the magic number. If the water reaches 6 feet, it will be topping some of those bridges, the entrance to the causeways, and those will be closed. Now, they will be closed anyway because of the strong winds. You won't be able to go across those bridges, but just to give you a reference, 6 feet is that height that will start to bring water over the approaches to most of the bridges in the Tampa-St. Pete area across Tampa Bay. So I'm going to zoom out here a little bit because I want to show you as well some other impacts that could be happening around the state of Florida. So first of all, I want to show you the wind field. I've heard some comments on social media, and I've heard some comments on telecons today that the storm might hit south of Sarasota or south of Bradenton, and it might hit Englewood. Now, when you hear things like that, it really makes no difference. Take a look at this graphic here. This is the wind field from this morning. I've duplicated that wind field right at the forecasted landfall time of 2 p.m. tomorrow, and you can see how far the wind field extends. So making a difference of landfall of 5 or 10 or 15 miles is not going to make a difference with the wind field that you experience at your home. You're still going to get winds over 100 miles per hour in Sarasota County. You will get wind gusts above 120 or 130 miles per hour because it's going to take a while for this storm to weaken once it goes inland. I'll zoom into to Sarasota here and show you Sarasota County. And you can see that here's North Sarasota. This is Manatee County, South Bradenton. The storm is much wider than these counties here. So if you live anywhere near the coast within a mile or two in Sarasota County and you haven't evacuated, you should really hunker down, find a sturdy place in the interior side of your interior part of your home, and put some things in there like that you need, a portable radio, put pillows and things like that, so you can keep that around you and stay safe. You're likely to lose power, but that battery operated radio will indeed keep you safe. So the storm, as it's forecast now, is forecast to move through basically Charlotte Harbor, where there's an 8 to 12 foot storm surge. And I want to show you what that storm surge looks like around Longboat Key and Anna Maria Island. Take a look at this. Now that we've switched over to NOAA's Sea Level Rise viewer, I wanted to show you the impact that a 4 to 6 foot storm surge could have on Anna Maria Island in Holmes Beach. And you can see the Holmes City Hall right on the left-hand side of your screen. Also Bradenton Beach down there to the south, Cortez, and also Robinson Preserve. So I'm going to change the sea level height here. I'm going to go up to 1 foot. This is 1 foot, and you can see the picture in the left-hand side. There's no impact to City Hall at Holmes Beach. If I go to 2 feet, you can see some inundation happening on the map in this area here, up and down the coastline, where there's inundation. If I go to 3 feet, we start to see some inundation along the steps of the Holmes Beach City Hall. And you can see more inundation across Anna Maria Island. This is significant surge, and it's only 3 feet. If I go to 4 feet, then you can see that most of Anna Maria Island is indeed inundated, along with Bradenton Beach, Cortez, and also Robinson Preserve, and it's creeping in to these neighborhoods into Bradenton. If I go to, now this is the minimum 4 to 6 foot storm surge that is potentially threat from Hurricane Ian. If I go up to 5 foot, you can see the steps are starting to get covered with water. This is from this ground perspective, and basically all of Anna Maria Island is underwater. Not the structures, just the land of Anna Maria Island and Bradenton Beach. And then if I go to 6 feet, then you can see almost up to the middle of the steps of the Home City Hall, and then all of the island from Anna Maria to almost all of Holmes Beach and Bradenton Beach is inundated. This is why, if you're given an evacuation order, you need to evacuate. Get off of those barrier islands and get well inland away from the storm surge. You will have to deal, if you don't go too far, with very strong major hurricane winds, perhaps of 120 to 125 miles per hour, with higher gusts perhaps to 150 to 160 miles per hour. I've widened out just a little bit to show you the impact of the rainfall that's expected. I mentioned before the rainfall totals through Central Florida could be quite dramatic, anywhere from 15 to 20 inches of rain in some areas. But I want to focus in a little bit on the state of Georgia and also into South Carolina. You can see in Georgia here, rainfall totals will go from 3 inches around Atlanta down to the south and east. That could be 7 to 10 inches of rain. This could cause some catastrophic flooding, particularly in areas that are low-lying that flood fairly frequently. You can see the path, the projected path of the storm, and it may emerge over the ocean. Either way, it's going to have a lot of moisture with it, and it's going to be pushing a lot of Atlantic Ocean onto the beaches. That's why these potential storm surges here are 2 to 4 feet from the Savannah River to South Santee River there, and also down in northeast Florida, Flagler, Volusia County line to north of the St. Mary's River. That's in this area right here. These storm surges could also merge in Jacksonville with the river there and cause some quite dramatic rises right in downtown Jacksonville. We've seen that in the past with some of the other hurricanes. But as far as rainfall goes, we could see very heavy rain, likely will see very heavy rain from central and southeast Georgia, even in parts of southwest Georgia. The thing is the rain falls so intensely in short periods of time, the storm drainage systems can't handle all that water, so it does cause problems. This precipitation is going to continue up to the north and east. You can see throughout South Carolina and also North Carolina into Virginia and southern Maryland into southern Delaware. We'll be tracking that very closely. But again, we're looking at a high impact event starting tomorrow with the onset of tropical storm force winds. It's already raining. I'm going to turn off the precipitation, but turn on the latest radar data to show you where it is raining. By the way, the state of Florida is red here because the entire state is under a state of emergency. And this is how the utility trucks, food, fuel, transportation sectors can actually get declarations and waivers. These are very important documents that those trucks have to have in their possession. So let me just turn that off for a second. Just so you can see what's going on from a rain perspective. Look at all the rain that's falling already in Florida. Here's Miami. It's raining in Tampa and St. Pete right now. It's raining pretty heavily along the coast. This is the core, just right here. This is the core of the rain. I'll even turn off the wind field information here as well. Let me turn off the initial wind radius. Just so you can see the precipitation. And there you go. This is the heavy rain from Hurricane Ian, but you can see how it extends already. The coastline of Florida is getting inundated with very heavy rain and thunderstorms. Even a tornado warning is going on here near in central part of Florida. That's what this polygon is, this red one here. We're going to see numerous tornadoes that could spin off of these spiral bands as Ian makes its way closer to the coastline. So that's the bottom line, and that is the briefing for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow to give you some more information. Please stay tuned to your local media. Your favorite broadcast meteorologist, the National Hurricane Center, is keeping you updated as well. You can go to hurricanes.gov and also to your local National Weather Service office. So for now, I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications. This has been the 6 p.m. update. It's gone a little long again. I'll be back tomorrow morning, or if conditions warrant, a little bit sooner. But we'll be back with more information as time goes on. So thanks for watching.